It takes a village to do this. Without this grant, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have helped hundreds of veterans.
The Alkermes Inspiration Grant really empowers and amplifies the work of community responder programs across the country.
The Alkermes Inspiration Grant allowed CRI to create an innovative program for Spanish-speaking people.
My name is Jessica Malaves, and I'm a life coach. The motto for my life coaching business is punch fear in the face. I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, stage 2B.
When Jessica was first diagnosed, it just pulled the rug out from both of our feet.
I started chemotherapy in July and immunotherapy treatment to increase the rate of survival and to decrease the possibility of a recurrence.
The Cancer Research Institute's mission is to save more lives by fueling the discovery and development of powerful immunotherapies for all types of cancer.
Wrapping my brain around immunotherapy was challenging.
It's a lot of information.
The Alkermes Inspiration Grant provided seed funding for a new initiative, the Spanish Patient Summit.
Having to navigate new medical terminology, it's very challenging, and I thought how much more challenging for those whose first language is not English.
Yo estaba sola.
It was extremely important to have world-class physicians who spoke Spanish to explain to patients and caregivers that only speak Spanish what immunotherapy is and how it works.
Estoy orgullosa de trabajar en el evento. Espero haber podido ayudar a algunas personas.
The first year, we reached more than 4,000 people. Since then, we have been able to scale that program, and now we're actually into developing our third year to be able to provide Spanish-speaking people with access to potentially life-saving immunotherapies.
In 2020, there was an uprising of desire for folks to know more about alternative responses to police and fire. The Justice Center, seeing this need out in the world, created the Expanding First Response Toolkit.
Amherst is an old town, older than the country. We have about 40,000 residents in town. For Black and brown folks here, there was a real fear of the police. The town made a decision it was going to do something about that. They came up with crests.
Community responder programs are a first response that decriminalizes mental health.
The days where all of our issues were either a crime or a fire are done.
When we get a mental health call, paramedics in an ambulance are in many cases not the best way to provide that service.
When you look at these programs, it's really about empowering their community to feel confident that when they call 911, that there will be an appropriate response.
We know we have to earn the trust of this community, and the only way to earn that is with our actions, because they know that if they need us, we'll show up for them.
The Alkermes Inspiration Grant supported the Expanding First Response Self-Assessment Tool.
The toolkit allows communities that are under-resourced to be in the conversation now.
We've heard directly from communities that it was a godsend for them.
We've had 12 communities reach out, and the toolkit is a way for us to offer them that support without taking our eyes off of the prize in our community.
Ultimately, the CRUS responders with their training are the best service we can put by the sides of the citizen.
Without this grant, we would not have been able to move as fast.
We wouldn't have the impact that we have currently.
And as a reminder that we're not alone in the work.
My name is Stan, and this is Glory. And Glory is my service dog. I served from 1984 to 2004 in the Navy and the Marine Corps. But when I got a head injury, my whole life changed. And so I became isolative. I drew myself into a circle of darkness, if you will. It's a really horrible place to be. Psychiatrists recommended I get a service dog. And I found Patriot Paws.
We've placed a little bit over 400 dogs that work with veterans with mobile disabilities. We partnered with the chairman of the board for Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and we started training female inmates how to train dogs. And that's what this grant has done, is to help us keep this prison program going and growing.
We teach the dogs to do a lot of things. So if you drop something, you can just say, uh-oh, and the dog's gonna pick it up and put it in your hand.
Sometimes I get seizures, and she'll put her paw on my foot to let me know, and I'll just sit down, take my medicine, and write it out.
We wouldn't be free without our veterans. And that's what the dogs has given back to the veterans, the freedom. The inmates that have been released from the program, we have about a 30% success rate of they're now working in the animal-related field.
They're getting a second chance in our program. And without the grants, being a nonprofit, we may not have been able to do that.
I love the way that Patriot Paws has changed the lives of the inmates and our veterans.
There's always been that gap between me and the world around me since I got injured. Glory is that bridge.
These type of grants help us keep doing what we're doing.
This grant was critically important to the CRI mission, and without them, I don't think this all would have been possible.
I don't know what things look like in 10 years, but because of this grant, I know I won't be alone, and that matters a lot.